What if I told you that one of the biggest trap rappers of our generation shares the same worldview as a gloomy German philosopher from the 1800s, Future and Arthur Schopenhauer, two men, 2 centuries apart, but both obsessed with the cycle of desire, pain, and escape. Arthur Schopenhauer was a philosopher who believed life itself was suffering. Why? Because everything we do is driven by what he called the will to live. This will isn't rational, it's blind. It's the endless craving for more pleasure, more success, more satisfaction. But here's the catch: once you get what you want, the happiness doesn't last. You just start craving something else. For Schopenhauer, life swings like a pendulum between pain and boredom, and the only real escape, art, intoxication, and sometimes love, temporary breaks from the suffering. But it never lasts. The pendulum has to keep moving. Back into pain, back into boredom. Future knows it, Schopenhauer knew it. And maybe that's why his music resonates, because we're all stuck swinging with him. The time in between, that fleeting moment where the pendulum is weightless, that's the closest thing to peace. For Schopenhauer, that's when art and music can suspend suffering, even if just for a second. And for Future, it's the studio. The moment the beat drops, the lean kicks in, and everything feels balanced. Just for a while. Think about that. On one side, pain, the hunger for more, the suffering that comes when we don't have what we want. On the other side, boredom, the emptiness we feel once we finally get it. Future lives inside that swing. When he's in pain, he turns to codeine, money, and women. He raps about needing them to survive the emptiness. But when he's got everything, when the world is at his feet, that's when boredom hits. The high fades, the buzz wears off, and the pendulum swings back. But listen closer, and you hear something darker. Future's songs feel like he's stuck in an endless loop of desire. Codeine, fame, sex, it gives him a high, but it never lasts. In tracks like Codeine Crazy or March Madness, you feel both the rush and the emptiness that follows. His music is hypnotic, like Schopenhauer's idea that art can make suffering tolerable for just a moment. Here's where it gets interesting. Future's trap reality is the perfect soundtrack to Schopenhauer's philosophy, the endless cycle of desire. The core of Future's music is desire. Money, drugs, cars, women, an endless chase. Every song is another verse in that cycle, and in a way, that's just the American dream turned inside out. The American dream promises that if you grind hard enough, if you get rich enough, if you shine bright enough, you'll be happy. But Future shows us what happens after you reach that peak. When the money's in your hands, the cars are in your driveway, the lean is in your cup. The hunger doesn't stop. It just shifts. You want more, and more, and more. The American dream has no finish line. This is exactly what Schopenhauer warned about. He said human life is driven by the will, a blind force of craving that never rests. When we don't have what we want, we suffer. When we finally get it, we feel empty. The cycle restarts. Future is living proof of that cycle. He's the superstar who achieved the American dream, but his music shows us that satisfaction never really comes. Instead, there's pain, boredom, addiction, and the desperate search for escape. So if the American dream says desire is the road to happiness, Future and Schopenhauer remind us that desire is actually the trap. The dream doesn't end with fulfillment, it ends with the realization that fulfillment never comes. That's Future sipping lean, chasing highs that fade the next day. The will to live, the force that keeps us restless. That's Future pushing out mixtape after mixtape, drowning in excess, but never satisfied. And for the rest of us, sometimes the best we can do is turn up the volume and vibe with the pain. And just like Schopenhauer's escape through art, Future's music is the escape. Not just for him, but for us. We listen to his pain, and somehow, it makes ours feel lighter. Both men turn suffering into something strangely beautiful. So what do Future and Schopenhauer teach us? That life is desire without end. You can't escape the cycle. You can only ride it,